Okay, I learned this one from a single tweet. I went on Twitter one day and some guy said, I just found a new reverse shell in SSTI. And it was this long line of junk, looked like a big SQL injection. I said, what is that? And I started Googling, and this is bloody awesome. SSTI, see, I'm a really primitive web designer. If you looked at my page, you can probably tell. I learned how to make web pages in like 93, and then I was bored and I never learned anymore. So this is all like GeoCities scale web design.
Oh, wow, I remember GeoCities.
But while I was not paying attention, they invented this stuff called server-side template injection. And what that does is it lets you make like a form letter, where instead of specifying exactly what's on the page, you specify fields that are filled from a database. And this is what Amazon is, right? If I go to look at Amazon, it shows me different stuff than it shows you. It reads the cookies and my login and my history and shows me different ads and stuff. So it's just a template which they fill in from databases. So that's what SSTI does. But the SSTI engines have injection vulnerabilities.
What?
So here's an SSTI engine. I can search for users. So if I search for user 1, it says it exists. Okay. But now that's, if I put in it's always going to tell me it exists because there's really no database, but it is a real SSTI engine. And so in this project 105, you install it on your own cloud server and watch how it goes. But I'm just going to use my demonstration cloud server. So here we go. If I search for Joe, it's going to tell me Joe exists. Let me shove this to the side. Okay. So Joe, that should work. Okay, Joe. All right, 1A Joe is fine. So 1A Joe exists. So that's not too exciting. But if I put in curly braces, 2 times 2, curly braces are the cue for something to fill in from an external object. And it calculates 4. So this is command injection. It executed that multiplication 2 times 2.
Exactly.
Now, if that's all I could do, it wouldn't be very exciting. But this database, this thing runs on Python 3. And Python 3 is incredibly messed up. Python 3 is object-oriented, and you're going to see you can do anything in Python 3. So now I have the ability to execute simple things, and here is a template that shows you how to do this. There are about 8 common engines used for template injection, and you find out which one it is by running these. So if you do $7, 7 times 7, so it's dollars, curly brace, 7 times 7.
Variable 7 times 7.
If you do that and try it, it does not evaluate it. It just comes back the way I put it in. So that is a failure. So I follow the red line. If it had evaluated and given me 49, I would go here.
Okay.
So now I do 2 curly braces, 7 times 7. And we already know from before, this one is going to evaluate the 7 times 7. I get 49. So I follow the green line here. Now I carry on. I can find out what the injection engine is here by doing this. So now I try this one, 7 times apostrophe 7. So I'm going to do that. And now I get a text multiplication, 7 copies of the letter 7. So again, that is a success. So I end up over here with Jinja 2 or Twig. And in fact, it is Jinja 2. So I've now fingerprinted my server. This is one way you do it, by the different command injections. And now let's talk about inheritance in Python, which is mind-blowing. So I'm going to just use raw Python 3 in my cloud server, which is...
In a SQL injection?
It's not SQL injection.
Okay, I was going to say.
It's Python injection.
Wow.
And Python 3 is incredibly dangerous. So let's clear this.
Yeah.
And let's play with Python 3 a little bit. So if I just run Python 3.
Okay, get your
command shell here with Python 3. So I can create a string called hello. It didn't listen to me. There, I made a string called hello. Okay, so I can print the string by just typing S. I can also do a directory of S.
You said a variable.
Because S is an object. The object has attributes and methods. It has a lot of attributes and methods. Just a string in Python 3 is not just like a C string where it's just 5 bytes long and a null byte and that's it. It is an object and you can do things with it. So for example, it has a method called class, which tells you what kind of object it is. So this is a string type object. Okay, now you can do methods on it. Like
Exactly, functions.
you can look for lower and it will tell you there is a method called lower on the string object. And if you want to execute the method called lower, you put in the parentheses and now it takes it to lowercase. So that's fine.
On the object.
Yep, so that would be fine, but now, okay, we've done all that. Now we're going to walk up the hierarchy. Suppose I do S class. That tells me that this is a string. Well, I could do S class class. What is the class of the string? Well, that is a type.
Okay.
So string is a type. Now you can also do S class base to walk up the hierarchy to a different level. And if you do that, you get up to an object. So there's an object, and the object has a type, and the type is a string. So now what's going on is you're walking up the hierarchy of Python 3, which is here. So this is what's mad. See, what I want to do is get command injection on this server. And I'm going to get there from only being able to put in a string. Because I start with a string, I go to the class, I go to the type. That gets me up to the root of this is the type. If I do class base, I get to object, which is the root of the entire Python 3 tree. And now that I'm up there, I can walk back down. Subclasses catch warnings is a method that has an import submethod. I can import libraries that the developer did not import and then execute them.
It's just so messed up.
It's incredible. You think you'd let them put in a string, how much harm could that do? It's the end of the world.
Even though he didn't import it in his original code,
that's right.
Import it.
Yes, I can go and import methods that they didn't import and put them in. So I can execute OS system, and now I get bash command injection. So it's bloody awesome. So you start here. See, so if I could import OS and subprocesses, then I could do it here. Then I would see this. So anyway, here's the commands to get. So a series of commands. You practice to go up here. You can enumerate these things, and you'll end up with a long list. Here's how you get to code execution. So it's a long process, but you can actually execute a date command inside Python 3 from this walking up and walking down to import the library and execute the system command. So you can turn this into bash command injection. And so anyway, you set up your own server, you find some flags doing this, and then you take over my server and start finding flags on my server. It's bloody awesome. And the end result, by the way, the stuff you have to do is like mind-numbing. This is why it reminds me of SQL injection. This is the injection that does it.
It's like Python injection.
It is. This is all the junk you have to do to read the file temp.out. And that's why people were competing on Twitter to find shorter ways to do this. Some guy had a thing that was only like 2 lines long that would be a remote shell. And some guy had one that was even shorter. It's just how smart you are. This is not the shortest at all. It took me like a few days of hunting through pages to make anything work at all. And then I quit because I'm not that great. But making it work at all, I was happy.
Up the code's all you do.
Yeah, but the smarter you are, the more you know Python 3, the more you can elegantly do this.
Yeah, exactly. I'm learning. I'm about in the middle.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's server-side template injection, which is pretty awesome. And then there's Salt. This was in the news about 2 weeks ago. Salt is a server administration utility that people use a lot. And it turns out that it has simple command injection vulnerability, which is really bad. So you can take your Linux server and put on your own salt. And because it's on GitHub, you can just check out the earlier vulnerable version. This is really handy. So you can check out the vulnerable version before they patched it. And you can run this salt thing and it'll start listening on ports 4505 and 4506. And so then you can get the proof of concept exploit from some guy. Now this guy does what many people do when they write proofs of concept. He uploaded buggy code that doesn't work. And I've heard people say, I do that to stop the script kiddies. I don't know. But anyway, this code doesn't work very well and you have to patch it a bit. But when you patch it, you can just totally execute command injection on the server. So you set up your own server and get in there and exploit it. And then you can exploit my server. I'm running a vulnerable salt server. You can get on there and find a flag on it. And by the way, people kept overriding the flag on this one by accident. So I made a cron job that replaces the flag every 5 minutes. So
There you go.
because what happens is when they do it, it's easier for them to make a mistake and write to the flag instead of reading the flag. So people kept on finding the wrong flag. Anyway,
I was gonna say if you use a lot of cron jobs, that would correct a lot of it, instead of having to reset your entire,
yeah, that's what I do all the time. In fact, what I did by one of my servers, people kept hacking it and putting on processes that would like run long attacks. So I made something that will just detect any process that's not mine and terminate it after 1 minute.
So
You
Sam,
can execute a command, but you can't run anything for any length of time. Yeah.
Sam, so on Linux servers, there's a attribute you can add to a file to make it immutable. So even if you're root, you can't change the file.
Oh, I should figure that out. That'd be great.
It's just the command line. I'll type it into chat.
Okay.
It's really simple, but yeah.
Mutable file. Chatter. Oh yeah. Yeah, chatter. Yeah, that's good. That's what I should use. It's the same thing in Windows. You can use, I think it's the same command. Attrib. It's a trib in Windows. You can make it read only. Yeah, that's what I should probably do.
like chmod in Linux.
Chmod doesn't.
Well, yeah, no.
It's chatter.
So chmod will still make it so that root can still edit the file.
Yeah,
If you want to make it immutable,
Yeah,
so like
don't.
even root.
it's chatter. Yeah, you put it here.
Yeah.
Chatter. Yeah, thank you. That's a good point. That's what I should do. Anyway,
Could you use ch own? I mean, that changes the owner.
yeah, but you can't stop root.
That's true.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, so then the last one, there's another similar one here. PHP FPM was another vulnerable service. Another vulnerable template injection server of some kind. I forget what PHP FM was, but it was a PHP module, this thing called FPIZ-DAM, and it had the same story. This is running on a lot of servers, and it had a command injection vulnerability. So you can, you have to put on Go, you have to run this script in Go, and then you can upload a PHP shell. And then you can execute commands here. So anyway, it's good, clean fun. Those are the other command injections. So I think I'm gonna stop and put this video up, and then we'll talk about Metasploit. So.